Welcome back, everyone. Well, we have a very special guest joining this morning to tell us about a very, very neat book. If I could get my mouth to work, all of a sudden it's not working so well.
One of those days.
Bub Saunders is here to tell us about a wonderful book he's written about his great-grandfather and the relationship with a pickup truck, too. Bub, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I hope I get my mouth working as well.
Yeah, I get it. So this is a really cool way to learn about local history, and you're talking about your lineage.
Right.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about the book?
Yeah, it chronicles my grandfather's life from when he was born in 1895 up through his death in 1968, and a little bit of family history prior to that to introduce how my family started in Hancock County. And then after he passed in 68, he sadly only owned the truck, the 68 Chevy, for 9 months before he passed. And as I was growing up, my grandmother always told me it was going to be my truck. And when my mom and dad passed away, unfortunately, I went in 2019, 2020, I went down to my dad's and mom's and brought the truck back to Winterport, where I live now. And a friend of mine from work, he and I restored it in the winter of 21. So.
Wow.
Tell us your grandfather's name. We want to learn more about him. And he was in World War I as
World
well.
War I, Ellis Hollis Saunders, and I got his middle name. His first name was my middle name, Ellis. He was just a farmer, you know, basically.
In Hancock County.
Hancock County had a sawmill. The family had a sawmill, and he went to World War I. And he, when he came back, he was a changed man, as the story goes.
Right.
And he struggled with that his whole life, and he met my grandmother, and she probably was the one that helped him through life.
Right.
And he tried to raise a family, and unfortunately they struggled to have children, and my dad was their only child. My grandmother struggled to have children. And so my dad was born, and then my grandfather, unfortunately, they call it PTSD today, but he spent some time, 4 months in a hospital just as World War II was starting. So he lived with that his whole life. But he was a great man in that everybody respected him in the community. During the Great Depression, he made sure people had work. He was a foreman for the CWC or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he made sure everybody in West Surrey had jobs, and he was a respected man. And I was always told that when he had his funeral, it was one of the longest processions from Ellsworth to Surrey to the family cemetery.
Wow.
So,
What inspired you to write a book? You've never written a book before.
No. In 2005, sadly, my wife was going through cancer the second time. I was trying to find something to channel some of my energies. So I started doing family tree, and I went into it too far. I did every branch you can imagine, and then after my folks passed, and it's in my book about some of the reasons why, but struggling with lawyers and things like that, and I just decided I was going to try to do something positive to get out of my self-imposed depression, so to speak. And so I just started writing the book, and I got a couple rejections until it finally was accepted last year. And
Congratulations, by the way. I think this is a really interesting way for readers to learn about local history, to talk about emotions that a lot of people go through in their families and personally. And I mean, it's Hancock County. We have a lot of folks who want to learn about our shared histories.
Did you say this was the first new vehicle he ever bought in his lifetime, too?
First new vehicle he ever bought.
And then 2 years
there's quite a
later.
story in there about how they paid for it, and my grandmother was determined to pay for it in cash.
Yes.
I bet your great-grandfather would be very proud to know that you're out driving that truck still to this day.
Drive it. My wife and I go on Sunday strolls with it all the time. So.
That's awesome.
So if you read the book, then maybe hopefully you'll get to see you driving the truck around a little
We
while.
are out and about, usually in the summertime, not in the winter. I keep it out of the snow and ice. So.
Smart.
Bub, where can we buy the book if we want to check it out?
You can go to fultonbooks.com, they're the publisher, or to amazon.com or barnesandnoble.com.
Oh, so it's very accessible.
Accessible, and it's on audio as well now.
And it's called A Story of My Grandfather's Life, a 68 Chevy, and Me.
Very neat.
Bub, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Of course.